In this video, this lady shared about her experience of giving birth to and raising a child in Taiwan.
在台湾出生的孩子呀，他从一出生就会领钱，第一次就会领到这个当地的一个8000元的一个津贴。第二点就是0到2岁的孩子呀，他每年会有得到一个育儿津贴2500，那2年他一共就会得到6万台币。老人帮忙带孩子，就是爷爷奶奶帮忙带孩子的话，然后如果奶奶或爷爷有保姆证件，他们每个月又额外得了3000元。他没有证件的话，他也可以得那个每个月2500的一津贴。2到4岁的孩子呀，就是每个孩子每个月会有一个教育津贴、育儿津贴，然后2500的2年，那么2年就是一个6万台币。0到4岁他们就会得到18万6千台币呀，那折合人民币大概是4万4千左右。
Someone then shared her experience of giving birth in China and said, "In the year of 2000, I gave birth to my son and spent more than 10,000 yuan in the hospital. In 2006, I was fined 30,000 yuan for giving birth to my daughter." Someone replied, "In Taiwan, children enjoy free and comprehensive medical care from birth. Only a registration fee needs to be paid to the hospital when he or she gets sick." Someone said, "When I was young, because of Beijing's propaganda, I often thought that we need to free Taiwan, but now I truly hope that Taiwan can help free us." Someone said, "I was keen to search for the best places in the world, but now I've come to realize that there is no need to look for them, because as long as the CCP is not present, that place will be a good place to live in." A Taiwanese netizen shared her experience of visiting China and said, "The first time I visited the mainland was on a business trip. While walking at the Tianjin airport at night and looking at the street light, I was able to see dust and haze with my naked eyes. Within just a few days, I contracted bronchitis and coughed so much that I thought I would die. I believe that the opacity of the political system will eventually result in no clear air in the country. Thus, Taiwan should remain independent from Beijing." In yesterday's episode, we mentioned that the CCP forbids the Chinese people from celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas, but at the same time encourages them to celebrate Halloween. This picture shows another example. A group of people was celebrating Halloween while wearing the Red Guard's clothes. Someone commented, "As long as there is a ghost in one's heart, every day can be Halloween." Someone said, "As long as the CCP is present, every day is Halloween." Someone shared this picture, which shows an event that took place in Shanghai where people were casting their votes for their ideal candidate for the People's Parliament election of Shanghai. Someone commented, "China used to embark on a regular journey toward democratization, but it was later interrupted by the CCP through the use of force." This well-known Chinese history teacher Yuan Tengfei also once talked about how the Chinese people can earn others' respect.
你活得有尊严，你就被人看得起，是吧？你活得像个人了，你就被人看得起。不是说你非得有什么你才被人看得起，是吧？我第一次去欧洲，法航的班机嘛，是吧？哎，飞机上感觉好极了，法航的服务，是吧？国航我觉得100年后都达不到，是吧？他就不让你闲着，一会儿问您喝水吗？一会儿问您喝酒吗？您吃蛋糕吗？服务又就那个不得了，那个服务心情特别好，嚓。降落在意大利米兰国际机场，一下飞机心情低到极点。同一架飞机上的白人走一个通道，欧盟国家公民专有一个通道嘛，人家不用签证啊，就什么都不用，就跟回自个儿家一样啊，就是回自个儿家了，甭管哪国人，哗走没影了，美国人什么走没影了，什么日本人、韩国人、台湾人、香港人，专有一个通道，这是人家友邦啊。是吧？基本上就是护照一递，梆就盖章；护照一递，梆就盖章，是吧？因为他都是落地签，他不需要签证，是吧？就全走了。然后我们黑人、阿拉伯人专走一个通道，每个人不查你个底儿掉，他不罢休，是吧？他不罢休，是吧？腰带解下来，裤腰带解下来，是吧？鞋脱下来，是吧？兜翻出来，啊，兜得翻出来。我们有原子弹呢，你怎么不怕我呀？对吧？日本人他趾高气扬，他挨过原子弹呢。对吧？韩国人有啥呀？他怎么比我走得早？我有原子弹，你知道我有原子弹吗？对吧？你知道我们国家的宇宙飞船上天了，我们都太空行走了，你知道吗？我有原子弹，你怎么能这样对待我？好像这个时候2弹1星帮不上我什么忙，是吧？好像咱们的祖国也不会因为我的兜被翻出来就拿原子弹炸意大利，是吧？所以我从那个之后，我悟出了一个真理： 人必须要活得有尊严，这个尊严跟你的原子弹什么东西实在是怎么样，没什么关系，扯不上关系。
Someone said if a person has become evil to a scary point, then his life will not last too long. The same applies to a regime. Someone shared a quote from a joint declaration from Gorbachev and Yeltsin given during the disintegration of the Soviet Union that designated the Communist Party an illegal organization. After more than 70 years of experimentation, Marxism-Leninism has failed from theory to practice. History and facts have proved that this is a ridiculous doctrine that harms humanity. In order to rule Russia and the world, Stalin continuously pushed the socialist system and the Communist Party to all parts of the world. Whenever the Communist Party appeared in every corner of the world, civil war, famine, and terror would follow. In fact, a core characteristic of the Communist Party is that it not only harms others, its own members also can't avoid ending up in tragic fates. This photo shows former leaders of the Chinese Communist Party, with the exception of Mao Zedong. All the others were either labeled as anti-party, killed, or passed away at an early age. After the French history teacher was murdered, 3 more people were killed on October 29th. After the attack, the Prime Minister of France said that the country has raised its security alert status to the highest level and said that the French government's response will be firm, unyielding, and immediate. Someone said, seeing what's happening in France and thinking about the upcoming election in the US, it should not be difficult to decide who to vote for. Someone said, whether you hate or like Trump, you have to admit that Trump is the president that does deliver on his campaign promises, including the following ones as he stated in 2016. Cutting taxes, withdrawing from the Paris climate deal, reshaping the judiciary, withdrawing from the Iran nuclear agreement, imposing tariffs on goods made in China, moving Israel embassy to Jerusalem, bombing ISIS. Someone said, when I heard the crowd shouting that we love Trump, I knew Trump will win because it's rare to see this in America. People do not see Trump as a politician, but instead a patriot that is fighting for them. Someone shared a few pictures of members of the religious community showing support for Trump.
We got some nuns for Trump out here at the rally today. They are right here in the front row waiting to hear from the president in just a few hours.
It was said that this was at a rally in Ohio. Someone also shared a video of monastics In addition to professional cultivators who are supporters of Trump, someone also shared a few pictures of and introduced the Amish people. Someone introduced, the Amish people are known for simple living and plain dress. They believe that their faith calls for them to lead a traditional way of life consisting of hard work and discipline, and in which they practice humility and calmness. They primarily live in Pennsylvania. Recently, they also publicly showed support for Trump. Someone shared that Trump himself once said that if he does not sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because he is not a politician. If he does not always play by the rules of the Washington establishment, it is because he was elected to fight for the American people harder than anyone ever has before. In light of this, it's not truly accurate to say that Trump belongs to the Republican Party, but rather the group of conservatives mostly made up of members of religious communities, including the Amish people who have been disappointed by American politics and believe that Trump can truly help lead America back to the traditional way of life. In 2016, the Amish people's unexpected votes played a crucial role in Trump's success. I once talked to a veteran in the US about this. He is a socialist and Democratic Party supporter. When I told him about the Amish people backing Trump, he lowered his head and said, "Statistics are not reliable." He said this because the Democratic Party analyzed and predicted the election results based on existing statistical data already in their database, which showed that Trump would not win. But they never expected that the Amish people would decide to come out to vote. Put simply, it's not the Amish people's real intent to engage in politics, but they are seeking to safeguard their beliefs and way of life, which were passed down from generations and reflect the universal values that they hold on to from radical politicians' erosion. They saw Trump as an ideal candidate. Someone then recommended 2 books. The first is The 5,000-Year Leap. This book talks about the universal values or principles the U.S. was founded upon, along with quotes from the founding fathers. For example, John Adams once said, "Our Constitution was made only for moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." The second is Roots of American Order. This book also shows people the origin, development, and evolution of the American order from a historical perspective. According to this book, the American order can be traced back to the law given to Moses on Sinai, which were the Ten Commandments. Therefore, from a certain perspective, it can be said that precepts are the beginning of human civilization.
Child, we will bring you home. You'll be a flower that sees the spring. Soon a dove flying high